If you've ever looked at a coaching client and thought, where do I even begin? Then this episode is for you. Hi, friends. I'm Elena Aguilar, and this is the Bright Morning Podcast. Every week, I'll help you lead conversations that build connection and spark change. When you're working with someone new or someone who's really struggling, and it seems like there's a gap in every direction, classroom management, planning, relationships, biases, lack of confidence, it's overwhelming. And the fear can creep in. What if I can't help them today? Well, we're going to talk about how to take the lead in these moments using the GAPS framework. You will learn how to name what's happening, engage your client in building awareness, and then create a plan that inspires hope. Here's what's at the root of this challenge. As a coach, you'll meet clients who have a lot of areas for growth. And when everything feels urgent, you might avoid naming the issues, try to fix everything at once, or give up and focus only on logistics. None of those responses help the teacher or you grow. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, then your client probably is too. And when you both are overwhelmed, no one can think clearly or take effective action. So the solution isn't to ignore the gaps or rush to fix them. It's to get strategic and relational. And that's where the GAPS framework comes in. I have coached so many new teachers who were thrown into classrooms without preparation. The first time I observed one of them, I was stunned. Kids were roaming, materials were everywhere, and the teacher was just surviving. And I remember thinking, there are so many gaps here. How will I ever help this teacher? And then I remembered, one step at a time, one conversation, one tool. And that's when I brought in the GAPS framework. And this is how I introduced it. There's a lot going on right now. That's totally normal in your first year. What I'd love to do today is share a tool that helps us name areas of growth and then choose where to begin. Just naming these can help you feel more confident. And then I walked through the different types of gaps, and we identified a few key areas to start with. And by the end of our conversation, the teacher was feeling hope, and so was I. The Introducing the GAPS framework skill session gives you sample conversation scripts for introducing the tool, tips for prioritizing gaps and reducing overwhelm, reflection prompts to identify your own coaching gaps, and a video recording of me demonstrating how to introduce the tool in a conversation with a client. So this session helps you move from reaction to strategy, and it gives your client a sense of direction. Here's a challenge for you for this week. Choose one client who has a lot going on. Reflect on what you think their biggest gaps are, and then draft 1 to 2 open-ended questions that you could use to explore those gaps with them. And remember this, you just have to create the conditions where growth is possible. And to help you do that, you will find the Introducing the GAPS Framework skill session in the Coach Learning Library. It's got the tools, the language, and the visuals that you need to lead these challenging but hopeful conversations. So if you're not yet a subscriber, this one session can shift the trajectory of your entire year. In the show notes, I've also linked the GAPS framework that you can download and use in your coaching conversations, as well as a link to our upcoming free community webinars. Thank you for being with me today. If you appreciate today's episode and you are listening via podcast, then please share it with someone you know who might benefit from it. Or you could hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rating and a review to help others discover it. And if you're watching this on YouTube and this video has sparked something for you, then give it a like and share it with a colleague. And if you're not watching on YouTube, well, come on over there and join us. There are links to the channel in the podcast show notes. Okay, finally, just a reminder, if you want to go deeper, then explore the linked resources below to keep learning. And don't forget that this episode is part of our weekly podcast. And so if you subscribe to the podcast, you won't miss future episodes. All right, friends, Leslie Bickford is the podcast producer, and Stacey Goodman does the sound engineering. Take care, everyone. Be well, and I'll see you next Monday.